ADCs and Invade, their options are going to be limited without the Varus, but I think they could definitely still have a lot of good ones here. Xayah still available. I think they could also go a Kai'Sa route if they want to. Both very, very safe ADCs. And EDG, however, they have to look for something tanky in their ranks because a couple of Assassins is good. An Aatrox is good, but they have to have some sort of front line. And this Nautilus, I think, is a pretty good option.
Oh man, and Langui on the Nautilus as well is very terrifying to see on the front lines, going to, you know, basically find any opportunity to dredge line against some of your other members. And Ezreal actually is a really good, safer pick here for Invade, but they might not go for it. They might go for this Kai'Sa instead, which I don't disagree with. Yeah. I just think that maybe Ezreal with his Arcane Shift is going to be a little bit safer against these assassins. He has more ways to get away than you know, Killer Instinct Flash, which Kai'Sa is, you know, that's her route of getting out of things. The Renekton getting picked up here for Belby now is, I don't disagree with it, but against an Aatrox, you have to be really on point. And of course, Renekton falls off a cliff in the late game, so he's not able to get any advantages, which I don't think is going to be the play here for Invade, just because, you know, they have they have to make him a tank, so he's just going to have to go either even in lane or call Undelish to the top lane quite a bit in order to stay ahead of EDG, because man, you just know every single lane is going to be trying to go for the first blood here on EDG.
I don't necessarily actually like the Kai'Sa pick here from Invade, but the Renekton pick I think could have been, I think the options could have been explored a little bit further here for Invade, because in a Renekton versus Aatrox matchup, it's gonna be 50-50. You've got no counter. Well, I do understand that the standard counters to the Aatrox were banned away, the Fiora and the Camille. They could have gone a completely different route. I mean, Gwen was available, Yone was available, all of those try and counter the Aatrox in that lane. Yeah. Which Invade, I think, would have provided them a little bit more damage, a little bit more of that utility. But the Renekton is an okay pick. It's I don't think it is an ideal pick here, but for Invade. But all in all, I'm really liking their draft. They have a lot of frontline, a lot of CC, and you've got that late game insurance here on both the Kai'Sa and the Vladimir. The question is, will they survive that mid game of the Assassins? That's what we're about to see here, Gio.
That is a very good question here right now. Because survival is really the goal of Invade Esports here. They need to be able to last until that Vladimir, until that Kai'Sa is able to get 2-3 items. And, you know, right now they are actually pulling the trigger onto Langui at first.
Early engagement here on the bottom side. Not really punishing anyone too far, but here comes the Justice Punch on the Langui. Exhaust pop to Invade, actually okay, lots of things invested already, but the trade doesn't go in their favor. Look at the HP bars. EDG have more.
Yeah, and even though I would say that Invade, you know, I love their proactivity, they just need to be super careful of how they do that, especially against this lane that, you know, is very calculated, very good at going for these early engages.
Going back in, that's the dredge line into the execute. Bank left alone here after his support has gone down. EDG, nice little counter punch there. And remember, Invade, because they invested the exhaust early, they couldn't do much to survive that 2v2.
Absolutely, let's take a look at that, because it was initiated by 5-Pro-Pam. And he did get the double taunt, but the Kai'Sa just didn't do enough damage, especially at this phase of the game, against this area and against the big husk of that Nautilus. So yeah, the first blood going here for on the side of EDG is kind of the first leak of a sinking ship for Invade Esports.
Yeah, it's a rough start here for Invade. But the good thing is, Belby is fending off Zhang so far here on the top side.
Yeah.
Darkened Blade just doesn't deal enough damage yet to get the shutdown onto Belby for now. But the opposite is true for their Renekton. Could perhaps look for an opening here in the early game against the Aatrox. So that's one good thing going there for Invade. But as far as scaling goes, EDG, they could not be happier that it is alone that's getting those kills in this map now. And they could potentially look for more. It is a Nautilus after all, can go for engages over and over again. And look at the positioning that Langui is using to try and find that pressure onto Invade's bot side. It's really, really good to see. But for now, I think Invade are gonna want to play a little bit more safely on that side.
They do have to be a little bit safer, a little bit more wary and cautious, I think. But they do have Undalish coming in from the lane. They have gotten the exhaust, and the on-stop shadows is going to go in, but I don't think this is going to be a dive that is orchestrated by Invade. It's just too risky, especially without a minion wave to initially tank it. So it will be Longri getting out of there scot-free.
Yeah, another rough start there for Invade. They invested Hecarim ult for nothing, essentially. And here comes Alone. They found a straggler, but he does find a kill. Alone flashes to safety. And that is the 1v2. Alone finds a kill. Gets the honeycomb as well. Honey fruits, rather, as well. And he is primed for another fight here. Bank running for the hills now. That's fine, a little bit of chip damage, but yeah, beautifully done there by the ADC.
Yep, Alone. Even though when he was alone there, Longui was gone, he was still able to turn that around. The 2v1. What a god! He knew his damage thresholds. He knew exactly.
And the gold gap here, Gio.
Really good awareness.
And the gold gap here, Gio. It's a 1.3k right now, but if you take a look at each individual player, 1,000 out of that 1.3k is only between the ADCs. Hold that, Belby. Gets knocked back here by Jang. Darkened Blade not ready yet, so the Croc is going to be staying relatively safe for now as Bluff X rotates towards that Baron lane.
Yeah, I actually love that Xiao Zhang is just being so aggressive in the lane.
Oh, yeah.
In what's it called, in this matchup, he doesn't really care about Belby and his potential, but
line connects from Langui, and here comes the charm. Bank uses the killer instinct defensively, flashes to safety as well, so he's out of there. Here comes the onslaught for shadows for the backup on the leash in the fight, but the 0711 finds that Kai'Sa, goes back in for the resets, and can actually go for another fight against the enemy jungler. Some ton of damage on the isolation, so Unleashed gonna back off for now, but what's a cleanup from EDG. Nice little rotate from 0711.
Yeah, 0711, 0711, a very alert, aware jungler, and speaking of, he is going to be down towards that bot side, looking for maybe a little bit more here against the in a while Crocodile, but it is going to be the dragon spawning up. He wants to be the first one on the scene, so that priority on late game scaling for EDG is very much alive. On Leash though,
Leash is up close, but here comes the fight. Langui still has all of the kits available to him. Dredge line available, flashes forward from the depths, and Bank is out, so there he's gone. Here comes the hero's entrance, but Typro Pam might have just bitten off more than he could chew, so he's gonna have to use the flash defensively. Meanwhile, the dragon has already been taken by EDG. They won the fight, and now they're looking at the Herald.
Yeah, they won the fight. They got the Mountain Drake, and now they are just going to take everything that they can as much as possible here. The Rift Herald, the double objective start is something that is very notorious here for CN Conference teams, and it is going to be the start of the end for Invade. I mean, at this point, 6 minutes in, basically a 3,000 gold lead, 3.5, going to be 4, maybe 4,500 here as Shelly brings that turret down. It is, at this point, this big of a lead for EDG. It's basically a death sentence for your team.
Just taking everything that they can. Meanwhile, you want a 1v1, Bluff X, flash to safety. And it's barely enough to keep him alive. Meanwhile, Dredge line connects into the back line. That's on the leash on a 1v1 against support. But Langui has the support of his jungler. And here comes the Nautilus ult onto that Hecarim. As Invade decide to retreat for now. They know that they can't fight. And they haven't found a single trade to everything that EG has taken from them. Bank, meanwhile, doesn't have the safety of the turret. And that's the exhaust from Alone as well. He's got nowhere to run. And Alone is starting to take over the game.
Yep, Alone is definitely the threat right now to consider if you're Invade Esports. It is going to be a bit rough.
George Land doesn't connect from Langui. Triggers the hero's entrance from Typro Pam though. The Bluff X still alive for now. Hasn't even invested the Sanguine Pool yet, but Unleash has found Langui, so might be a little bit of trouble here on the Nautilus. Just as Punch doesn't connect, but the Charm does, and that's Langui going down without a fight, without any help from their team. But that's okay. because EDG looking for the response in the form of Bell in that bot side. And they're going to take a turret as well. So at the end of the day, EDG, they're looking to make things even more in their favor as Bluff X drives. And that's the perfect execution from you. And that's the second part of it. That's keeping him alive, though. Doesn't have enough damage either. So Invade find a little bit of breathing room for now.
That was still very close, even considering that, you know, the Akali was ganked by, you know, 2 people in a 1v3. Still almost did all the damage, but 0711 maybe does not want to bite off that much. Alone though.
Oh, Alone goes in on the leash, almost goes down. But here comes 9 for the bailout off Alone. And that's 3-man strong top side here for EDG. So something makes his way in. Sanguine pull forward. Bluff X manages to deter that aggression. Bank, Killer Instinct, flash forward, finds one. Can he find another? Is he gets stunned up by Langry now? Bank looking for 0711, but that's just a little bit too antsy there. But he does find a kill. Does get taken down, so it is at the end of the day a 5k gold lead here for EDG.
Yeah, the Void Spikes taken him out as he was making the chase happen. So 6,000 gold in the pocket of the EDG. Their gold lead starting to balloon a little bit, and this is exactly how EDG wants to play. This is exactly how they want to end the games, just as much as possible while they have that lead. Do anything in their power to get more of a lead. Langui always looking for a dredge line opportunity, and I even like that, you know, that little flash depth charge onto Bluff X, but now Typo-Pam in a little bit of trouble.
Okay, here comes Langui. He goes to isolate Bluff X. Does have the Sanguine Pool, but what much can that buy you? Actually, a lot. Uses the Rocket Belt to stay alive for now. And Typo-Pam uses his Hero's Entrance, so Invade actually investing everything they can just to stay alive. Meanwhile, losing the blue buff in the process. It is looking absolutely rough here for the Invade squad.
Yeah, I can't even say that this was unexpected, because this is exactly what we thought EDG was going to do. Their aggression in the early game, especially because they got that first blood, they got that confidence to just push the pedal to the metal, even with, you know, you being 0-1, and you know, there's a very slight gold lead on the side of Bluff X. He still will start to be incredibly scary, especially when he gets into these other fights. If he's able to get a backline access onto Bank, and even, you know, against Undelish, he's going to be very formidable. But now the ice raid being started here by EDG.
EDG, they're in good positions. Langry, front of the fight here. Perfect fusion activated on the leash, down to 1 HP, and that's depth charge, keeping him at bay for now. But EDG, look at the positions, it's just perfect. Killer Instinct to the backline, though, looks to deter that as Bank gets jumped on by 0711. And look at the damage from the Kazakhs, and you just destroys everyone as EDG walk away with the fights and an 8,000 gold lead. I'm not even sure if they took the Drake, but they sure won the fights.
They 100% did, and you can see the target focus here from 0711. He actually got out of that fight in order to just focus down the Drake. He isolate the Drake, get it, and then participate in the fight. He was there, he jumped onto Bank. Look at that chunk immediately, and then, you know, the Killer Instinct to bring him to his death. Very unfortunate there for Bank, but still, you know, he should have known that there would have been a Kazakhs hunting him down. So a little bit of an oopsie there from Invade Esports, trying to make that fight happen, especially with Undelish at the start of the fight getting chunked out and forced to retreat. That should have just been a call for Invade to, you know, retreat, regroup, give that dragon, and maybe just try to stop him from getting sold.
Bank has just been super aggressive. Now he's forced to stay behind because he's got ulted on twice. Now he has flash backwards as the Onslaught Shadows tries to buy a little bit of time for the team. But Invade is just running for the hills as EDG hunts them down. It's a 2-for-0 as Bank barely survived, but I think they can find him here. They just turn their tides towards that bush. Luckily, Bank survives, but the rest of his team just running now. 11.6k as we head to the 11.5-minute mark. Where is Invade gonna go? What are they gonna do here, Gio?
That is a very good question. I honestly can't tell you. I don't know how they're gonna get out of this situation, especially when the Kaisa just gets caught out like that. Bank, he's the one who's supposed to be, you know, dealing the damage, the deeps, and carrying for his team, but it's just not happening right now. EDG is stifling them at every single turn. It is absolutely tragic to see this for Invade Esports, but you know, this is just standard EDG play.
Yeah. And so far, they haven't been making a ton of mistakes here. And even if they did, Invade can't really punish them, right? Because it's a almost 4,000 gold lead at the beginning of this Baron power play. And EDG just looking to end this game as quickly as humanly possible. And look at the gold leads just ballooning now, even bigger than it's now 14k as they jump into the face of Bank again, and he's just down for the count now. As Heroes enters, you stop this just as much forward flash or alone, who just gets out to safety as EDG. Here comes Xiao Zhang with the reinforcements, and they're going in for the fight. Darkened Blade dealing a chunk of damage as 0711 jumps forward onto Bluff X. You flashes forward for perfect execution onto Bluff X, and look at how quick Zhang is flying into that base as EDG march down to the first Nexus turret, first inhibitor turret rather, and this should be the game here for EDG. Invade, can they pull off any bit of resistance?
I mean, the EDG, they are going to be just doing everything. They're gonna cross their T's, dot their I's, take every inhib turret first. But yeah, Xiao Zhang was very, very fast coming into that fight. Just, you know, the speed of the Aatrox, ending their world basically. 6-20 right now. A 20,000 gold lead for EDG in 13 minutes. This is just textbook for them.
Yeah.
This is, you know, a game that they are just very eager to end. This is a show of force, a show of power for the Chinese squad. They want to get that 10 win streak, right?
Yeah, but I do have to say I like how EDG is approaching this matchup in general. Still a ton of respect for Invade. I mean, theoretically they could have pushed further in that base. Deciding not to is a definite show of respect, so EDG, commend them for that. Meanwhile, they're taking the red buff here, of course. Thypropam, they're trying to at least get a little bit of vision in their own red side jungle. But the Void Seeker doesn't even find any bit of vision at all. Here comes the Dredge line, and here comes Unleash looking for something. And he's found 4 players right in his face. He's got the Onslaught of Shadows to use offensively, but he's just got nowhere to go. And he's gone down. Bank Killer Instinct backward, and look at 0711 chipping him down to nothing as Bluff goes down as well. EDG, they're running for the base of Invade as Belby's just scrambling, gasping for air as he flashes to the safety of his minions, but there is just nowhere safe against EDG, against 0711. And this should be the game with Thypro, the only one left standing. Minions crashing down at his base. Dredge line doesn't connect, but the stun does. And here comes EDG to lay down the thunder as they take game 1 of this best of 3.
Yep, that is textbook for EDG. Everything that they did there was what they have been doing for